Going to talk about three coins that I feel in the next 12 months could be pretty big. Let's see what they are. So hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a like and comment. It makes a big difference, so thank you. Now, obviously the market today, as it stands of time of recording, pulling back a little bit. Not everything's pulling back though, certain things are not. I am mentioning three coins in this little segment of video essentially that I feel in the next 12 months will probably become pretty key in terms of the industry and growth in terms of the current value of where they are, what industry kind of specialism they're in, and ultimately hype of demand. So we're going to talk about three of them. The one thing I want to talk about first, obviously, you can see here already on CoinMarketCap, they're already changing elements. So they've got a Polkadot ecosystem, they've got NFT and collectibles, BSC ecosystem, and obviously yield farming. So it's starting to get more organized, more ordered, which is obviously good. It's helpful for us to find stuff, especially for me, looking at things. I know it's crazy, by the way. I do my lives and people are throwing stuff at me all the time. Like, you know, there's so many coins coming out at the moment. It's pretty hard work. So please bear with me if I don't fully understand all the coins here. But I'm going to go over briefly these coins, not in full-blown detail, just three coins that I've liked the look of recently because I do think they've got some sort of usage in the market that I feel that could offer competition and also a lot of, you know, demand essentially for certain things. And one of them is very, very important, which is actually this one, the first one. So the first one is a cash network, or cash network, what do you call it. It's a weird name. But let me talk about this because I did a tweet the other day when Binance went down and everything went down. Every exchange pretty much went down because the Amazon cloud went off. It went totally offline, off the grid. And this aims to actually solve that. And we'll go over briefly what it is. It's relatively new. And all I'm going to say is the first DeFi, or decentralized, essentially cloud computing marketplace. So it's like a place for things to remain online, decentralized. So it shouldn't break, essentially. The biggest drawdown of anything that we've got in crypto is we need the internet, essentially. We need services to run. Too much of that bottleneck, too much of that volume, it just breaks, doesn't it? The good things about this, before I go on to it, it's not on many markets. So this is why I'm picking this one as one of the main ones, because it's relatively under the radar in big buying volumes. You can already see here, if I go to all markets, that's all we've got four. So word on the street, a lot of hype, might do all right. So what is it? Unstoppable cloud. Simple. Decloud for DeFi and the world's first decentralized cloud computing marketplace. So when you start thinking about online marketing, online servers, online everything, right? The world of online, there's a problem because most of it's on that Amazon cloud. Most of it, you know, when you think about it, my website's on it, YouTube's most definitely on it. There's all kinds of stuff in terms of if there's a problem, there's an issue, and it goes down. So it's faster, better, lower cost cloud build for DeFi, decentralized projects, high growth companies providing unprecedented scale, flexibility, and price performance. 10x lowering cost. Our serverless computing platform is compatible with all clouds and all applications. That to me is a huge selling point for me as a use case and as a scenario where crypto is going to get bigger and bigger. Volume's going to get bigger and bigger. All these Binance systems, all these exchanges are just going to go, just die every time. So this definitely has something of interest in my eyes. So when you start seeing it, it basically packets it all up as one and it makes it decentralized, allowing things to continuously run, which is kind of important. So you can see here, simple, scalable, and secure. Deploy, secure, and scale your application in minutes without having to set up on managed servers. So you can already see here Cosmos, you know, Interledger. You've got AWS as well, Packet, for example. They're all there. So this, for me, as a use case, could be very, very interesting long term. So I like it. I know I don't actually hold any of it, but at the end of the day, I'm just waiting to see what happens with it because ultimately it's relatively new. It's not on many exchanges. That could well be a buying opportunity for me, but I'm just waiting to see what happens overall in this course, this potential alt season, and if the availability is still there. So it's one of those ones. It's kind of low in value. If we look at the market cap of it, it's currently 173 million. It's not got huge amounts of tokens. Little bit of research there for you. Not much, I know, so please do a deep dive yourself. But that is, in my opinion, something that could take your pick in the next coming year. Moving on to the next one is API 3. This has been relatively aggressively on the dumping side recently, but we're going to talk about this because this is obviously a part of the Oracle systems. It's relatively new. Okay, you can see here it's been unveiled in 2020 September. And the main problem associated with APIs at present, connectivity, was there's no way for smart contracts to establish a direct connection with APIs. So basically, oracles, right? We know that oracles are pretty much required as a need use case for the world of cryptocurrency. And we've got Chainlink as the main one. We've got Band as well. We've got others out there too. But for me, I like the look of this one. I just have a feeling that this has got some real decent backing. It's got some real decent team members behind it. And I feel that oracles are just starting off. They're just literally scratching the surface. So I'm looking here. The reason why I'm suggesting this one as a potential opportunity is because there's not many tokens in circulating supply. There's a lot in maximum as it stands. But again, do your research. I don't understand. I've not done a full deep dive on these yet. So, these are kind of ones for you to kind of go, okay, I'll have a little look at them. But when you start looking at use cases, when you start looking at how good is Chainlink, how big is Chainlink going to be, but then you got all the other ones out there as well to kind of look at and fill your boots with. When you start looking at all this kind of information in terms of how an oracle works, it's obviously a data feed. It's a data point of real life data that's going to go onto a smart contract to tell you yes, no, whatever, right? All the kind of details. But when you think about governance, this is kind of important for me. This is where I think Chainlink falls down, in my opinion. There's not much in terms of, in my opinion, decentralization. There's a lot of centralized elements to Chainlink, which is why a lot of people don't fully invest in it, which is fair enough. When you know that there's a lot of tokens there at the developer's disposal, it puts people off, which is absolutely fine in that way because people don't like that. But when you look at this aims to be essentially, for me, what they state is the governance is going to be decentralized, which is kind of important. But I've not had a full deep dive of this, so just don't take that as my gospel here. In terms of the token, though, obviously the governance token, it aims to be a native token for the API 3 project. It gives holders the right to take part in governance in the API 3 ecosystem. So they are trying to make it as decentralized as possible, which is absolutely the best way to do this sort of thing. Obviously, it's brand new. There's not much happening yet. It's relatively out the blocks, which is kind of why it's interesting. Obviously, look at the white paper. If I just save this, see how it looks, I'll probably be an absolute mess. Yeah, it's an ugly white paper. I don't like these white papers. But yeah, if you want to have a little deep dive, have a little look, understand the token metrics, understand how it's all happening. But there's not much information here. That's the thing. So you got to do a proper deep dive of this. And if you want to know the team as well, by the way, it's on CoinMarketCap. If you look down halfway through, you got Heikki Vaninton. There's one person. You've obviously got Burek. I'm ruining all these. I'm not even going to start with the pronunciations, but there's some of the team members there if you want to have a little look. But in terms of what makes it unique, obviously, for me, Chainlink Band, they're going to get bigger, they're going to get better, and ultimately this could be a very, very good alternative. And in terms of market cap, $68 million. So it could go up much higher, and it's not on many big exchanges. On lower exchanges, apart from Huobi and KuCoin, we'll see some further growth. The last one is PokerStarter. Now again, this is relatively higher, but I feel that the Polkadot ecosystem has huge demand. Parachain is going to go mental soon. People are buying these fundraisers essentially very, very quickly. It's still on the Ethereum network, so this has still got room to grow in terms of scalability, but it's doing very, very well. And I think with the demand of the Polkadot ecosystem and more auctions going on it in the next year, this could well get a lot of interest in terms of how it works. You've got to hold the token to get involved in the fundraisers, get the opportunity essentially. So when you start looking at it and thinking, well, where can I go with this? Well, when you start looking at all the kind of good stuff, in my opinion, all the pools are going to get bigger. You can see there's already a few going on recently. There's some that's coming up very soon and already filled. But when you start thinking about us page and you're looking at the roadmaps of this, in my honest opinion, this will do much better throughout this year. Migration to the Polkadot ecosystem, multiple chain swaps, full KYC integrations coming. When you then go into the next part, governance model, interoperability, the big things these, and then you've got Polkastar 2.0 and the launch of the fully working DAO. So when you think progression, what's going to happen, Polkadot's going to get bigger. These are going to get more interesting. It's going to be off that Ethereum blockchain. It's going to have less, blockages. There's going to be higher throughput, better fee distribution. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this actually works. And you can see already here, ERC20 standard. It's a problem. And when you put in a lot of money into things to try and get, essentially a winning ticket of an early buy-in on an order, yeah, we've got problems. So when you think about obviously market growth, huge. And you see here, for me, when I'm looking at Polkadot and I'm looking at all these ecosystems that are going to be basically made on here, the protocol, just that opening sentence there, the protocol built for cross-chain token pools and auctions. There's high demand for that, especially throughout bull market. Enabling projects to raise capital for a decentralized, interoperable environment based on Polkadot. So when you put them all together, and you think Polkadot, parachains, substrates, then you've got Kusama in their Canary network, and then you've got the element of demand, bull markets. People are going to be holding this token to get involved in all of the things that are happening. Essentially, this market growth will probably continue throughout this year. You look at all the pools, as you can see here, there's loads of them. So it's not going away anytime soon. So they're my 3 picks. Go away, Brave Browser. Hope you enjoy. 3 obvious kind of looking picks as well. At the end of the day, it's what's took my eye recently, and I think 2021 could be very, very interesting for a few of these especially.